Okay, this is the stereo oscillator tutorial for Keytosound's Nexsyn. You can find this tutorial on page 73 of the Nexsyn manual. If you have not done so already, go ahead and download a copy of Nexsyn, a demo copy from our website, keytosound.com. In this tutorial, we're going to explore the stereo signal path of Nexsyn. When we say that Nexsyn has a stereo signal path, we mean that it has a complete stereo signal path in which all signals from one module to another are handled in stereo, and that's true right and left fashion. If the stereo button in a module is not enabled, the module simply mixes the two signals into one mono signal before processing. However, modules in mono mode still send out two identical signals so that other stereo-enabled modules, such as filters, can process them. Inversely, if the module is stereo-enabled, two independent signals, right and left, are sent from the module. So if you have an oscillator that is stereo-enabled, in actuality you have two oscillators, left and right, that can be treated and modulated independently. The stereo path also applies to XWM file playback as well, and we'll get into XWM in some of our later tutorials. So what we're going to do, we have Nexsyn open, of course. We're going to go into the preset browser. We're going to load the tutorials directory and then load the empty preset. And we'll go ahead and save this real quick. We'll just call this stereo panning. And after we've done that, we'll go back into the edit view on Nexsyn and we'll open up the amp envelope module. And we're going to make a couple changes to our modules that are currently open. On oscillator 1, we're going to change it to be stereo. That'll enable the stereo knob. We're going to leave the waveform type at a sine wave. Stereo we'll leave at 0 for right now. Semi we're going to leave at 0, and the amp we're going to leave at 0 decibels. But actually in this tutorial I'm going to go ahead and turn this up a little bit and turn Nexsyn up a little bit, because the sounds we're working with might be a little hard for viewers at home to hear. And then in the amp envelope, we'll make a couple changes. The delay we'll leave at 0. The attack is going to go up to 22. The hold is going to be 0. The decay will stay at 64. The sustain we're going to set down to 84. And the release we'll leave at 32. So we've got our sound now, and or at least we've got the building blocks of our sound. Let's go ahead and play a note off of our MIDI keyboard and fool with the stereo knob on oscillator 1 while we do so. Rather than moving the stereo knob with my mouse, I'm going to go ahead and link it to a MIDI knob on my MIDI controller. I can do that by clicking the CC button, moving the knob I would like to move with my mouse, and then moving it on my MIDI controller. You can see I've got it linked up already. So let's play this and listen to it. You might want to put some headphones on at home for this, because the sound, again, might be a little hard to hear at home, and you also want to hear what's going on with the stereo signal and the sound when we play here. So if you have a chance, go ahead and do that and listen to the sound. So you can hear now how the signal's movement in the stereo field changes when we move the stereo knob. So let's go ahead and turn that knob up to 100. And then let's compare the right and the left channel by moving the pan dial on oscillator 1 back and forth. I'm going to link the pan to another knob on my MIDI controller real quick, just to make some quick and easy changes. So we're going to go ahead and play a note, and we'll just move the pan dial back and forth a little bit. So you can hear now, you should be able to hear what enabling stereo can actually do to a preset. There's actually a little bit of detuning between the left and the right signal, and that's because a true stereo signal path will actually be modulating two different signals. So in this case, that's what Nexsyn actually does. Stereo settings in Nexsyn aren't just panning information for the signal. Usually in most synthesizers, that's all it is. It's just a left and a right. But in this case, the sound is actually dependent on which channel it is panned to, and also if you have the stereo knob enabled and so on. So we can also add effects to this, as always. You know, we can add a little bit of echo. Or any other number of sounds. The stereo signal of Nexsyn applies to any and all modules to which it is applied to. So we can change the sound, and we can use a saw sound. I'll go ahead and turn this down a little bit because it's going to be a little louder now. So that's the basic overview of the stereo oscillator and the stereo signal path of Nexsyn. I hope that you enjoyed this. You'll find that using the stereo signal, using the stereo controls of Nexsyn, will really give your presets and your sounds a lot of depth as you go along. Again, if you haven't already done so, feel free to download a demo of Nexsyn from our website. That's keytosound.com. If you have any questions, you can email us at support@keytosound.com. And we look forward to hearing what you have to say. Feel free to leave us comments, rate our videos, and let us know what you would like to see in a tutorial. And we'll see you next time. Thanks.